It's been a while since I made a video because there's really nothing much uh, in terms of the fish. The water's kind of a lot greener because it is extremely warm, and I've been feeding a tremendous amount of food for the grow out. This pond, the small pond, has a lot of algae. The big one is also having a lot of algae. Let me show you how warm the temperature is. This is early morning when it already had a whole night of cooling down, but the temperature is at 78.9, so almost 79, and during the daytime it goes up to about 82, which is still a pretty stable temperature, and there isn't much of a swing because of the large body of water. But it's very green. I'm not even gonna fight it this year. I noticed how good the fish grew out in the green water, so I'm just gonna let it grow out and just let it maximize it. But today I want to mention something about my pond, an issue that I've been experiencing, and it bothers me a bit because of this. Okay, so look how low the water level has dropped. Let's see if I can pull the net up so you can see. So it went down by a good like 6 inches or 6 to 7 inches. You see that? And it's constantly cycling the RDF. And in the past, I thought this would have been a leakage, but over the years, I've isolated the issue, and I finally know what's going on, and I have to address it because it's quite annoying. I can always address it just for temporary, but for a permanent solution, we have to do something else. All right, so the issue is actually this. So this is my entire sump. So this sump is full of K1, and it also had just a couple of weeks ago, it also had like momotaro and oyster shells and stuff. Well, mostly momotaro ceramic media or the baki media. It was on the top layer. So this thing partially acted like a shower and a sump, and the K1 was blocked off from flowing to the pond using the matala mat. In the past it worked really well. But eventually what I noticed is it just starts to build up, and it builds up and it gets compressed and it gets pushed towards this matting right here. And then see, here's the issue. The water level actually maybe easier to see on this angle. So the water level inside the sump, if it was below the liner, see, the liner is actually right there. If it was below the liner, it would not have issues. But over time, because this thing clogs up and it can't flow out as fast, so the water starts rising. And when it rises to the part past the liner, because it's supposed to go down like by this much, but it clogs, and so now water starts overflowing above the liner, while I have these wooden pieces on top here, and that's how I'm losing water. It's not so much that I'm leaking water, but I'm losing water from the sump overflowing. See right here? See how that liner meets the wooden piece? So between that gap, that's where the water's flowing out, and that's how I'm losing water. So what I'll be doing is another project to most likely I have to do something about this mesh for the K1 altogether. I'm thinking about putting the K1 in a bag, removing this mesh, or maybe just remove the K1 and put a different type of media so that it sinks down and that it doesn't get clogged, because the issue is just clogging. It clogs when I go on vacation. If it starts to have this problem, we're gonna be in big trouble. So that's my concern, and I will be having to address this. Otherwise, it's ongoing. No matter what I did, I can suck this out and clean it up like before, but it still builds up and it clogs this. So it's a major issue, and the water just flows down into that area, that pit. And you see, even though the video I've been recording for just about 5 minutes, the filter has been going on and off 3-4 times already. So the water level is low. It's constantly cleaning and cycling. It's putting extra wear on the filter for no apparent need. doesn't benefit anything. So we have to get this removed. We gotta address this, otherwise we're gonna be stuck with this forever. The K1 actually floats, so it's not like I have K1 all the way down. It's just that it floats and then it creates this. So I'll keep an update on this one right here. So you see what I'm doing is now I've attached my pump here, my Perea pump, bringing the water out there just temporary, and then it'll lower down the water in the sump, and then I just spray this right here. Let me show you what's happening underneath. So I'm gonna just spray I'm gonna spray the matala mat to clear up any clogging right there. But I don't want to have to be doing this every few weeks, you know. I want this to be a permanent solution, so I'm gonna have to redo this whole thing when I have time. Yeah, but see, I'm cleaning the mesh. So I'm cleaning up the mesh and just trying to unclog it on the bottom. It's kind of irritating seeing that it doesn't work the way I designed it. The first few years was fine, but over time, I don't know why I kept doing that. Maybe there's something else happening that I need to check up on. But I think it's because of heavy feeding, and even though this water runs through the RDF, it still has stuff that's building up. And because of that, this mesh, this matala slowly clog, and it's so thick, therefore there's probably more stuff inside in between here. It goes down pretty deep. This only helps for a few weeks. I've been dealing with this for the last, I don't know, since earlier this year. Sometimes you can design something and in your head you think it works really well, but over time in practice you'll start to see problems crop up, and this was one of those things. The first few years, I want to say the first 2.5 years, no problem. But by the second, yeah, by the last 5-6 months, earlier this year, this is becoming much more problematic. Which it shouldn't be, but it is. And well, it's possible that I can probably just take out this mesh, rinse it really well, and then shove it back in. So what I might have to do is drain all this water out, shove all the K1 back into this side, and then take this sucker out and see what's going on. Maybe that'll be the easiest solution for now, because then I don't have to deal with anything yet. Because to remove all this and redo this, it's not a lot of work because it's just K1. You see how little K1 is actually? No, it's not. It's actually a lot of K1, but it's on the bottom. So it's not supposed to be flowing up that much. But unfortunately, it is. Although I wonder if I can just put matala on the top here to kind of wedge it down. Maybe that might help. Well, no, I don't know. We'll see. All kind of interesting theories and experimental applications that we can try with this. But ultimately, we want a solution that requires the least amount of maintenance, because we don't want to be doing this every few weeks, every month or so. Well, technically every month is not really that much for like a 30-minute work, but me, I want everything to be safe in case if I'm away from home, I don't have to worry about it. Because if I'm at home and the pond water level is going down this much, I'm always going to get worried. Alright, so now I've kind of sprayed most of it. So hopefully, actually, I'm gonna go on the other side. Spray. So I'm actually gonna be spraying on both sides. I'm gonna try this side as well. Underneath on the other side, Here we go. Just gotta get in here without slipping. Look how much buildup of that algae is right here. All right, you see underneath, watch. So we gotta go in there and go down that side. I'm gonna put the camera down because I don't want to drop it. All right, so now that I've drained a bunch of water out from down there, you can kind of see what I'm working with. So the K1, when there's no water, it actually drops down a lot. I remember, I feel like I had more K1 than this in the past, but maybe it got compressed and then the volume shrunk. But anyways, ideally what I want to do now, temporarily at least, I gotta move all this over and then clean this matala right here. Cause see, because it's clogging up, water isn't flowing, and since it's not flowing out, it's flowing up instead. See that right there? See, but the best thing that I might have to do actually is figure a way. See, the best thing is actually having the media sink, because this thing just keeps flowing up and flowing up. So if it was sinking, even if, let's say, the water comes up to here, at least it'll have a way for it to exit. See, but right now, because it's flowing up and everything is flowing out, so all the media gets pushed like this, gets pushed against the matala, making the block even worse. And actually it goes down pretty deep. Actually, yeah, I know why there's a lot of media, because it's actually very deep down there. Deeper than I can reach with this shovel. Let's see. See, all the way down. Yeah. So there's another extra like 12 inches of media down there. Surprisingly deep. Yeah, but if I can manage to get all that out of the way, you know, maybe what I should do is just take all the K1 out and work on this, and I might have not to deal with it for another 2 years. So if I clean out this mesh completely, like pull this thing out, rinse both sides, and just put it back in, it might last another 2 years. Who knows? But yeah, I thought I'd show you guys what I'm dealing with every now and then. What you thought was great at the beginning doesn't rear its ugly head until 2.5 years later. Okay, so that's it for now. This is actually part of the pipe that brings water down here. So I have water going from the top and at the bottom, because I figured that's the best way to make sure that they could expose all the media. And there's actually my little air pump right here too. Got a little air tube, air pipe. Kind of helps a little bit, not too much. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna rinse that part out, and then I'm gonna flow the water back up again just to see how it goes. It's pretty interesting. Interesting, but time consuming. So if you guys ever decided to do a sump with K1, probably avoid my design. It's not working out too well over time. Probably the best thing to do with K1 is actually put it in a container and slit the pipe small enough so that the water can come out, but the K1 will stay behind, because this style did not work. And probably in that container you want to have an air pump constantly pumping so that it doesn't build up stuff like this. Alright, it's a little bit loud because I got the pump coming back on and the RDF coming back on, but let me show you what's supposed to happen. So what's supposed to happen is the water gets to a certain level, right? Like, we're gonna see it slowly go up, so just wait. Alright, so the water's almost coming up. See how before I had this tube on the top? I actually had a couple of trays and backing media in like little crates, and then I removed that because it made cleaning a lot easier and faster. Alright, so here's where you're gonna see my original design idea and how it was supposed to work. So technically speaking, the water is only supposed to come up to about here, and then everything flows out because the weir, this is the weir, and then that exit is actually like 8 inches, no, like more than 8 inches lower than this side. So I never anticipated the issue until later on. Okay, here. All right, so the water's starting to come. Let's see this side. The water's starting to exit here. You see it? So that's the water exiting, and then see over here, it's only supposed to rise up to that level. See how I actually had like an extra 6 inches of gap right there? See that? Before, the water was like right here where the wood and the liner is. Now, you see, even it's filled up. I got the water running this and the water coming through the pumps, and it's supposed to just stay like that. So my original design, I gave it enough space here so that it would never overflow. It would always flow out. But as you already saw, the buildup happened on this end, and then the water just starts slowly pushing up against the liner and exiting that side. So this will be good for like another month or month and a half. I don't know, maybe it's not too bad. Maybe I just have to keep an eye on it, but it's not the best design. If you want a maintenance-free sump, this is not the way to go. Maybe K1 is not the right media either, because it floats. Maybe you want a sinking media. So yeah, so this will be good for a while. See, I have air stone. See, actually, that part of the K1 flowing up, that's just from the movement of the water. I have an air pump here, which is set to go on at nighttime, but not during the day. I figure during nighttime it needs a little bit more action to kind of clean things up, and it's not as noisy because I don't have to hear the air pump. So that's why I left it on. And now we're just gonna wait, and the system will be back to normal for a month and a half, 2 months at the most. Well, if this gave you an idea of what not to do, hopefully it was helpful.